But one of the funniest ones, remember we had the old football all-star game in Chicago, and Zortman had gone out to give a speech somewhere, so I was in charge of the newsroom one night. And anyway, we're sitting there, and we figured we're going on about 11 o'clock after the football game, and all of a sudden a storm comes up there at Soldier Field in Chicago. And they said, okay, we're giving it back to the station. I'm looking there, it's about 9:15, 9:30, close to 10 o'clock, and I said,
Phil for 30 minutes.
And I get back there and I said, run whatever we did at 6 o'clock. And we're in there trying to get our coat and tie on. And I said, folks, we're not ready, but we're going to do it anyway. And we did the entire 45-minute newscast back then.
Back in those days, the College All-Stars played the NFL champion in August. We had done a 6 o'clock news, and so Phil thought, well, you know, we're not going to go on till 11:15 or 11:30. But what happened was tremendous thunderstorm hit, and they called much of the second half off, which meant we would go on at 10, and it was about 10 minutes or 5 minutes until 10. You have never seen Phil Woodall move faster in your entire life. And he comes on the air, his tie is loosened, his collar is up, his hair is all disheveled, and he said, folks, I'm going to be honest with you, we are not ready for this newscast. And, you know, there are other stories, but we just had a great time, a great group of people.
I'm going to show you this car. It's kind of what I've gone to. It's kind of electric doors. You notice that? So since I had to kind of get off of motorcycles because they made them too tall, or my legs got shorter. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I thought the safest thing to do would be to get me a little four-wheel coupe. And it's all electric doors, electric windows. It has a backup monitor. It's got just all modern things. And we have this is for getting out and going to the store, I call it, but it's just something we do. And I think after you get our age, you retire a little bit, you probably need something around to do this. And that's, I've been saving, even when I was on Channel 7 and at Sizemores and at Trips and working, I was always saving on this man cave. So this all originally, you could just say, come from Tuggie time.
It was not just the station, it was the community, and we relied on each other. We didn't have internet back then. We had to go out and really research our stories. And it wasn't just one person who could do it. It was a group effort, and that group effort related back to the community, and the community embraced us, and we embraced the community, which we were one big happy family.
We had a sense of family. We had a terrific stringer system. Every little town all over the Panhandle had perhaps a housewife or maybe someone in radio or just a, you know, an average citizen who would go out with a little 8mm film and they would shoot stories. They would then call their scripts, 20 or 30 seconds, by telephone into the station. They would take their unprocessed film can, take it to a truck stop or a gas station, ask if they were going to Amarillo. If they said yes, they said, leave this somewhere in Amarillo. Here's a number to call. Well, the truck driver would stop, toss the film can out. They would call Channel 7. Somebody would rush over and get it. So there was a film story with a reader that had been called in by a local person, and that was our stringer system, and it was quite unique all over the country, and certainly helped build the ratings of the station.
We never had a helicopter, but we rented one.
Yeah.
We would rent one from time to time.
Well, and I remember flying, I forgot who, my pilot was named Bob, and we had Amarillo Flying Service, I think, and we, a little one propeller, yeah, down to Wichita Falls and coming back, and the storm comes up, and I remember helping him by looking out the window into the storm, trying to figure, we were doing a debate between Bob Price and Jack Hightower, right, and covering that. And then we also went up to Pueblo, Colorado, and Secretary of Agriculture Bob Berglund came in, and we did that interview with Bedford Forrest, our farm director. And I even got in trouble one time with Bedford out at the Tri-State Fair talking about Charley. I thought it was a horse. It's a cow.
Yeah.
You know, how stupid am I? But you know, we had it was a good news unit. Sometimes they talk about the control room, the people like you working behind the scenes to on the air. We actually had a good relationship. You know, yeah, we might grap at each other every once in a while, but the thing about we respected each other, and what we did was we respected our station, and we felt like we could do anything we wanted as long as it was fair and the news. And a lot of that does with Jim Pratt. Pratt smoked those cigarettes and hard-nosed news, but the man knew how to teach you. And I think I've talked to people at the University of Mississippi where he went eventually after going to KVIA down in El Paso. A lot of respect for him. So, and we had good directors.
Tried. Actually, used to have a contest to see who could do the most news programs without any mistakes.
Right.
And there wasn't much in it. I think we'd get like a bucket of fried chicken or something, you know. But it was something, you know, it's something to work toward.
Remember Dan Garcia from Border originally. Dan and I were great friends, and one day we just had a read story, and there was a homicide-suicide, I think it was in Bovina, and the woman's name was Guadalupe Hernandez Woodall. Honest to goodness.
Oh,
just like, so I'm reading it at noon, and he starts breaking me up, and I'm just talking about this. Well, all we've got is a reader, no film, nothing, obviously. And I said, I get through it. At 6 o'clock, I said, I'm going to get him back. So I slipped that. I said, quick, Danny, read this before the next story. And he says, 27-year-old Guadalupe Hernandez Woodall shot her husband in the gun. And the place just went nuts. But, you know, you did stuff. Remember Ben McCain?
Yes, Ben McCain.
The McCain boys. Ben McCain from Bovine, and the first time he was on. You know, eventually he and his brother were stars out in L.A. So
they had a morning show.
And so he got
breakfast.
got on the weather, and it was a Sunday at noon. We used to have noon newscast, and we do. And after we did the cold open, did the spots, came back, and I said, you know, we each had a little small thing to say, and did the sports bit. And Ben said, and the weather today is going to be wonderful, and everybody's going, oh, help me. Just way too energetic.
I think we corrupted Ben, too.
I found it highly suspicious that anytime we have a party here, they give me an assignment.